Hello. I'd like to ask the interpreter currently on the Spanish channel to commence translation of the meeting. For those just joining the meeting, live translation in Spanish is available, and members of the public or staff wishing to listen in Spanish can join the Spanish channel by clicking on the interpretation icon in the Zoom toolbar. It looks like a globe. Once you join the Spanish channel, we recommend you shut off the main audio so you only hear the Spanish translation. Gilberto, will you please restate this in Spanish?
Para las personas interesadas en interpretación simultánea en español de esta reunión regular del Concilio de la Ciudad de Santa Rosa, pueden accesar este canal en la barra de funciones en la parte baja de su computadora o teléfono móvil. Haga clic en el icono del mundo o globo terráqueo, escoja su idioma, en este caso español. Se le pide también que mantenga su micrófono apagado hasta que se le pida hablar y la administradora o el administrador le avise que es su turno y le prenda su micrófono. Gracias.
And welcome to our City Council meeting today. Madam City Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Schwedhelm. Councilmember Sawyer.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Present.
Mayor Rogers.
Here.
Councilmember Schwedhelm, have you joined us? Okay, let the record show that all council members are present with the exception of Councilmember Schwedhelm.
Thank you so much, Madam City Clerk. As a brief explanation for the public who's joining us via Zoom, we were originally not scheduled to have a City Council meeting today. We were scheduled to have this council meeting a week ago. City Hall experienced a power outage that actually took out our ability to connect via Zoom. And what ended up happening was, because we had agendized the meeting as a hybrid meeting, both in person and on Zoom, by not having the Zoom component, we were at risk of violating the Brown Act if folks could not participate the way that we had said that they could participate leading into the meeting. So we chose instead to continue all of the items from last week to this week, and we agendized today's meeting as a Zoom meeting. In fact, the only people who are in the chambers are myself and the city clerk team, as well as our IT department. Everybody else is via Zoom. That way, just in case we didn't have the capabilities, we then were at least able to do this off-site if we needed to. With that, we'll go ahead and move into our meeting for the day. We'll start with our proclamations with item 6.1. It's a proclamation for Water Professionals Appreciation Week. It is, as I mentioned, was anticipated to be last week. We will have Councilmember Fleming read our proclamation. Item 6.1, please.
Through the mayor, it's going to take, I'm having a tech issue of my own, so it's going to take me a moment to pull that up. If you'd like to reassign that, you might save yourself a few moments.
Is there a council member with 6.1 up in front of them that can volunteer quickly?
I have it, Mayor.
All right, go ahead, Councilmember Sawyer.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
My camera's, I don't have camera today, so we all have our own little tech issues. That's not uncommon for me. It's my pleasure to read the proclamation. Whereas water is essential, and without safe and reliable water and wastewater treatment, no community and no sector of the economy can thrive or expand. And whereas now more than ever, we are proud of the important role the Santa Rosa Water Team plays in making sure our community has safe and reliable drinking water, effective wastewater collection and reuse, stormwater protection, and clean and healthy creeks. And whereas thanks to technological advances by highly skilled and trained water experts and the dedication of Santa Rosa Water's professionals, our community's drinking water and treated wastewater meets the most stringent water quality standards in the nation. And whereas our community's drinking water is filtered, cleaned, tested, and distributed in a process carefully managed by trained water operators who also make certain our water distribution system is operated to ensure reliable water system pressures for residents, businesses, and firefighting. And whereas Santa Rosa is a leader in water recycling, reusing nearly 100% of the city's recycled water for urban and agricultural irrigation, as well as recharging the geysers' steam fields to produce clean and renewable energy for 100,000 households in the North Bay. And whereas our storm drain system and creeks are maintained to ensure a healthy natural environment for all. And whereas these water professionals work 24/7 to plan for the future, maintain and upgrade systems, and improve the safety and resiliency of local water supplies for our community. And whereas Santa Rosa Water invests more than $135 million each year on water-related programs and projects that protect public health and the environment, improve local water supply reliability, replenish and clean our groundwater basins, provide water for fire protection, and protect against floods. And whereas 276 essential water, wastewater, recycled water, and stormwater industry professionals at Santa Rosa Water have dedicated their careers to keeping drinking water, recycled water, treated wastewater, and our local creeks safe and reliable for our community, as well as neighboring communities. Now therefore be it resolved that Chris Rogers, Mayor of the City of Santa Rosa, on behalf of the entire City Council, to hereby proclaim the week of October 1 through 9, 2022 as Water Professional Appreciation Week. Signed by the Mayor on this date.
Thank you, Councilmember Sawyer. And accepting the proclamation is Jennifer Burke, our Director for Santa Rosa Water. And Director, do you want to introduce your team that you have with you as well?
So thank you, Mayor Rogers and Council, and thank you so much for honoring the Santa Rosa Water team with this proclamation. Initially, I had 4 staff that were going to be with me in person last week. However, they have all declined to participate in Zoom. So you just get to see me accepting the proclamation, but I was going to have John Kozlowski, one of our wastewater operators, Jason Leaf, one of our senior USOs, Mark Shipman, one of our laboratory analysts, and then Stacy Hatfield, one of our revenue and operations supervisors in water billing. Just again, wanted to say that California Water Professionals Week, which takes place the first week of October, we will be appreciating all of the Santa Rosa Water team for their dependability, relentlessness, and their talent. And we really appreciate this proclamation. It recognizes the efforts of Santa Rosa Water, not only of us, but also all water professionals and the essential jobs they perform for our communities day in and day out. Water professionals make sure that we have safe and reliable drinking water, treat and beneficially reuse recycled water, and we are protecting our water resources and the environment. So thank you so much to Council for recognizing these efforts, and thank you for recognizing all the work that water professionals do in Santa Rosa and the state of California. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Director. Let's go on to item 6.2, and this is Councilmember Rogers' item.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas Canine Companions is a nonprofit organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing expertly trained service dogs and ongoing support to ensure quality partnership. And whereas Canine Companions and their service dogs can help individuals live their lives to the fullest by providing best-in-class training, cutting-edge research, and a deeply committed community of support. And whereas we believe in the joyful, transformative power of the human-canine bond, and whereas National Service Dog Month aims to educate our community about the benefits of service dogs and the laws protecting them, and whereas
The City of Santa Rosa continues to work towards becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens and their service dogs are respected, and whereas the community is encouraged to celebrate genuine service dogs and be respectful to the adults, children, and veterans that utilize these services. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Chris Rogers, of the City of Santa Rosa, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim September as National Service Dog Month.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. And we do have Michelle Williams from Canine Companions, as well as Wallace Brosman from Service Dogs Renata, who I believe are on the Zoom and have been promoted.
Sorry, my name is Kristen Dombrowski, and I'm taking the place of Michelle Williams. I'm our executive director here. I just want to say thank you to the council. Canine Companions invented the concept of service dogs nearly 50 years ago here in Santa Rosa, and we're extremely honored and grateful to receive this proclamation in our hometown. And I wanted to pass it over to Wallace Brosman. She is our communications coordinator, to say a little bit more.
I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to receive this proclamation. I am actually not only a staff member at Canine Companions, but a 3-time graduate with my own service dogs from Canine Companions, and they have been 100% life-changing. Our dogs know 45 commands when we get them, and they are just truly able to do anything from pick up something as small as a dime to carrying our groceries. And it really makes all the difference to recognize the great work that not only Canine Companions does, but the excellent work that service dogs are doing every day. So from me and my current service dog, Renata, I thank you so much for the chance to have this proclamation.
Thank you so much, Wallace. And Kristen, before we let you go, do you want to take a moment and plug your facility and the work that you're doing here in Santa Rosa?
Sure. I think you might be mentioning our new facility that's underway. So we're really fortunate to be able to be building our new Canine Health and Wellness Center right next door to our current campus off Dutton Avenue. And this new facility is going to be home to our a world-class veterinary clinic, as well as combine our Canine Early Development Center, which is currently in a rental across the street. So we'll be able to consolidate basically all of our veterinary care, our breeding, and our puppy program and research in one facility, which is going to be amazing. So we'll hope to have all of you out to visit once it's completed next year. Thank you.
Excellent. And thank you so much for being here, both of you. And council, thank you. We'll open it up for public comment on our 2 proclamations for tonight, items 6.1 and 6.2. If you'd like to provide a comment, go ahead and hit the raise hand feature on your Zoom. Seeing none, we'll keep moving through our agenda. Madam City Manager, let's move to item number 7. That's our staff briefing and our COVID-19 response update.
Thank you, Mayor. Darielle Dunstan with the City Manager's Office. I'll actually be providing that update. As of today, Sonoma County has reported an overall case rate of 8.7 per 100,000 residents and an overall testing positivity rate of 5.8%. It's important to still remember that vaccinations remain the most effective means to protect oneself from becoming seriously ill and from being hospitalized due to COVID-19. And for more information about the status of COVID-19 in our community, testing locations, and vaccine information for all ages, please go to SOCO emergency, all one word, .org. And that concludes my update, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Assistant City Manager. Council, do we have any questions? Let's see if there's any hands for public comment on the Assistant City Manager's update. Seeing none, we'll move on to our City Manager and City Attorney reports. Madam City Attorney, do you want to kick us off tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I do have one announcement that I'd like to make, and that is with respect to a settlement that was reached late last week. This concerns two cases from Apogee Gardens. Two cases. The first is Apogee Gardens versus City of Santa Rosa. It's a case brought under the Public Records Act. And then the second case is Apogee Gardens and Jason Smith versus Kelly Abadara et al. That was brought under Section 1983, alleging civil rights violations. Both cases combined have now been settled for a global settlement of $95,000. And I want to thank publicly Assistant City Attorney Adam Abel, who was the lead on the litigation and negotiated that settlement, which we believe is a fair and appropriate settlement. And happy to answer any questions. And that's the only announcement I have for this afternoon.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney, and thank you to your team for the excellent work. Council, any questions for the City Attorney team? Let's go on to our City Manager report then.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Before I hand it over to Assistant City Manager Nutt, I just want to thank Assistant City Manager Dunston, Chief Westrope, Chief Cregan, Lon Peterson, Claire Hartman, Joe Chaboni, Public Works, Water, and all the city employees for their quick response during the earthquake. You know, we have an amazing team, and I just want to publicly express my appreciation for a job well done. So, Jason, I'm going to punt it over to you.
Thank you, City Manager Smith. Mayor, council members, we have two exciting updates for you today. One, the Transportation and Public Works is excited to announce that the first two battery electric buses arrived in the corporation yard this morning, with the other two buses arriving by the end of the week. These 40-foot Proterra battery electric buses will be powered exclusively by local renewable geothermal and solar energy through Sonoma Clean Power's Evergreen program. And over the next several weeks, the Transit Division and fleet staff will work with Proterra and other vendors to complete post-delivery inspection and testing of the vehicles, install onboard technology such as the fare boxes, Clipper reader system, and provide training for staff in the operation and maintenance of the buses. A celebration of this important first step in Santa Rosa City Buses fleet electrification program will be planned ahead of the launch of these buses into service as they roll into the Santa Rosa City Bus system, with details to be provided in the coming weeks. It was very exciting to see pictures of those vehicles arriving this morning. Rachel Ead, our transit manager, was extremely enthusiastic. So excited about transit. The second update relates to the Guaranteed Basic Income Program, the Pathway to Income Equality. The application period opened on September the 1st and will remain open until October 31st. The application is bilingual in both English and in Spanish, and families in Santa Rosa can get in-person one-on-one bilingual application assistance via Esperanza, CAP or CPI. Outreach partners will continue to table at events and spread the word in the community and on social media to make sure eligible families are aware of this wonderful opportunity. Mayor, that concludes my report and update.
Thank you so much, Mr. Assistant City Manager. Questions from council? Seeing none, let's move to our public comment on the City Manager and City Attorney reports. If you're interested, hit the raise hand feature on Zoom. All right, let's go to statements of abstention by council members. Council, are there any abstentions for tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to our mayor's and council member reports. Do any council members have a report they'd like to deliver here tonight? Go to hit the raise hand feature. Start with Councilmember Sawyer.
Thank you, Mayor. And what I have, not a report on any one committee meeting, but I do have I'm requesting that the Todd Creek annexation be placed on our agenda for further discussion at the earliest convenience. The discussion would include a general plan amendment and how to best expedite the process for the purposes of housing. I am seeking a second for this request.
I will make that second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
We have a motion from Councilmember Sawyer and a second from Councilmember Alvarez to add the item to the agenda. We will bring that back at our next council meeting specifically to vote on whether to see if there's support for adding this to our staff workload. So all debate will cease for tonight and bring it back for a noticed public discussion about that item.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you, Mayor. So first, I would like to say that I was able to attend the Merit Awards, and that was great. And it was great to see what people are doing in our community and how they're providing service. And just, it was a wonderful opportunity. So I think pretty soon they're going to be getting ready for next year, because it does take a long time to get those together. So if anyone has anyone that they would like to nominate, please look into that. Also, really quick, October 1st is the first day that the financial aid opens up online. So if your child is even thinking about going to college at all, please look into filling out a FAFSA just to get them into the system, and that can be found at studentaid.gov. In addition, let me see, I'm still working on the Veterans Day event for November 11th and 12th. A lot of community feedback and participation, so really enjoying working with that. On this past Saturday, I was able to attend a food distribution at Bayside Church, which happens on the 2nd and 4th Saturday of the month. So that was really cool to see all the people that came out and that were in need, but that the need was able to be filled by Redwood Empire Food Bank. And I was able to tour the Greenway with Vice Mayor Alvarez, and thank you to Thea for putting that together, that tour together. And violence prevention policy team meeting was also really great. And we were able to get a bunch of people that care about the community, that care about the youth. And really, I haven't seen so much discussion in that meeting, but it was really a great meeting to be a part of, to hear everyone kind of put their ideas on the table and see how we can move forward. And lastly, because I am here and I'm not able to be with my daughter, I would like to wish my daughter Tiana a happy 22nd birthday. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Council Member, and that happy birthday extends from all of us too. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted, Council Member Rogers just informed or spoke about both the Greenway as well as a couple of other events that we were able to attend, including the Merit Awards. I want to add to that also the National Registration Day, which I was actually happy to participate at the Mikote Food Park. It was a great event. We were actually able to register new voters, which I'm really excited to see in the Rosa area specifically. I also wanted to speak on a golf event that was hosted by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm not a golfer. It's definitely a sport that I need to take up, but nonetheless, it was great to drive around in little caddies and try not to run anybody over. So that was always fun. Hopefully next year we can have a lot of our fellow council members join us on the greens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I just wanted to take a quick minute and thank our Assistant City Manager and our entire team for how they responded to the earthquake a couple of weeks ago. Council members were lucky enough to have finished up our meeting and have dispersed. And it was our new Assistant City Manager's first meeting in the hot seat. And I just told him that that's the way that Santa Rosa welcomes people, is with some form of a natural disaster. So whether it was our water team who are responding and checking on our infrastructure, our transportation public works team, our public safety team, everybody at the city mobilized in a way that we all can be proud of to make sure that there was no damage to the city and that the needs of the residents were met in that moment. So I did want to just thank everybody for the way that they jumped in and reacted and continued to take care of this community. With that, we'll keep moving through our agenda. Let's go to our consent calendar.
All right. Bear with me for this long agenda we have here today. So item 12.1 is a resolution. It's the third amendment to General Services Agreement F001842 with Yarborough Brothers Towing, Inc. Item 12.2 is a resolution adopting amended Conflict of Interest Code. Item 12.3 is a resolution amendment to the city classification and salary plan to modify the salary range of the city attorney classification and adoption of the city salary plan and schedule. And item 12.4, which has some adjustments to it, so let me read it clearly. It's approval of amendment number 4 to the city attorney's employment agreement and introduce an ordinance to increase the compensation of the city attorney, including 1, a 5% merit increase in salary, resulting in a salary of $21,492 per month, and 2, a 3% increase in deferred compensation for a total city contribution of 8%. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. Let's see if there's any questions on the consent calendar from the council. Seeing none, let's go to public comment for our consent calendar. If you have a comment, go ahead and hit the raise hand feature on your Zoom.
We do have one recorded voice comment.
Okay.
For 12.3.
Let's go ahead and play that right now. Assuming the technology works with us.
The audio does not seem to be playing on the recording. So we will, the comment was submitted by Jack Osborne, and we will incorporate his comment into the minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and bring it back then and keep moving. Mr. Vice Mayor, if you could please put a motion on the table for consideration.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move items 12.1 through 12.4 and waive further reading of the text.
Second.
We have a motion from the Vice Mayor and a second from Councilmember Rogers. Any other discussion? All right, let's call the vote.
Councilmember Schwedhelm? Councilmember Sawyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Mayor Rogers?
Aye.
That motion passes with 6 ayes, with Councilmember Schwedhelm being absent.
Okay. It is not yet 5 o'clock, so we can't do our public comments yet. We'll keep moving through our agenda where we have no report items, no public hearings. We do have written communications, quite a few of them, specifically on legislation that was making its way through the final stages up in Sacramento. I will see if there's any questions from council members on item 16.1, our state legislative update and Public Utilities Commission update. Seeing none, we'll see if there's any public comment on item 16. And I see no hands, so we'll go ahead and come back. With that, council, the only thing remaining on our agenda is our public comment for non-agenda items. So we'll go ahead and recess until 5 o'clock. We'll come back for that public comment.
Have. Would the attorney then have to give back money they're paid you from May to September?
all the things he can do. He doesn't hold it every other meeting. Everything but city council, he will call in, dial in, whatever. Just wants to.
All right, Madam City Clerk, if we can call council members back, let's see if we have a quorum. All right, I recognize a quorum. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Schwedhelm. Councilmember Sawyer.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Present.
Mayor Rogers.
Here.
Let the record show that all council members are present with the exception of Councilmember Schwedhelm.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Clerk. We have one item left. That's our public comment for non-agenda items. If you'd like to provide comment on an issue that was not on tonight's agenda, go ahead and hit the raise hand feature on your Zoom. And I believe for phones it's *6. Is that correct? *9?
*9, yes.
Sorry, my apologies, *9. Let's start with Tom, followed by Joanne.
Can you hear me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. My name's Tom LaPena. I'm the president of the Santa Rosa Manufactured Home Association. First thing I wanted to say thank you to City Manager Smith and the ladies of the council who attended our live barbecue. We appreciate it very much, and we thank you for your support there. We started our quest for the RCO, the Rent Control Ordinance revision, back in 2019. Councilman Schwedhelm was the mayor. And at that time, we told him about the need for the revision of the ordinance, and they put us on a tier 2. Since then, Mayor Rogers, I think you'll remember earlier this year, Roger McConnell and I had a Zoom call with you, and you put us on the goal-setting meeting for this year. We did that. I'm going to move on because I'm watching the clock. Also, we had meetings, and we've met with the chief city attorney. We've met with Megan Bassinger from Housing and Community Services. And those meetings happened in August. We're still waiting to have our first joint meeting, ad hoc meeting with the owners. Our issue, we feel, is not with the owners. Our issue is with the outdated ordinance. And we are asking, begging, please get this before you on your agenda for the council this year. Rent increases will go into effect starting January 1st. According to the mobile home residency law, our people must be notified 90 days in advance. Some of them have gotten a notice already. You will hear from another speaker what that increase will be. Our prediction is almost exactly on the head. We need your help. We need your support. We need your compassion. Please help seniors and young families, because manufactured housing is the last affordable option for affordable housing for these groups in the city. We need your help. We need it now. We can't wait any longer. Please Get this on your agenda. We know you support us. We will support you. We'll work with you on this. Please make it happen this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Let's go to Joanne.
All right, I think it works better if I unmute. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Smith, and City Council. My name is Joanne Jones, and I'm the Vice President of the Santa Rosa Mobile Home Association. And thank you, Tom, for speaking out again. So Santa Rosa is tied, like Tom said, to a very old rent control ordinance established in 1992. And we would very much like to have that ordinance amended and changed. We are tied, Santa Rosa is tied to San Francisco, Oakland, and Hayward. San Francisco's economy is tourism, bioscience, and technology. Santa Rosa's economy is tourism, wineries, manufacturing, and retail. Also, the average price of a single-family home in San Francisco was $1.3 million, whereas the average median price of a single-family home in Santa Rosa is $60,974. So there's really no parity between, you know, San Francisco, Oakland, and Hayward, and they're all kind of right in there, and Santa Rosa. So we have been living with this ordinance for a very long time, and we would like to be divorced from it, actually. With that said, we know we're going to still be tied to it probably for a while, but we would desperately like to see it amended and to reflect actually what Oakland has done, which is they've lowered theirs to 60% of the CPI and with a 3% cap, whichever is lower. And I believe Alameda did the same thing. And so we're all part of that same group. So if you would please just keep us at the top of your agenda and do the right thing for us seniors. And thank you for your hard work and dedication. Appreciate all that you have done also. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joanne. Let's go to resident 5549.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Dwayne. I'm from Roseland, and I wanted to point out that I've also been a founding member of the Sonoma County Housing Advocacy Group, and these are very important times to help mobile homeowners, manufactured housing as it's called. 27 years ago, that was one of the main things we were working on when we helped to save the Journey's End Mobile Home Park from being destroyed to put in a Home Depot store. Since it was burned recently, it was destroyed, some would say, by an unnatural event. And those last 40 units where affordable housing was available was then destroyed with the promise that more affordable housing gets built at that site. One of the dilemmas in Santa Rosa, which was just mentioned, is that the median home price is up near $700,000. And a lot of young people cannot afford to get into that costly of a home. So one of the things that's been happening is the build out of Roseland. A 30-year-old plan called the Southwest Area Plan has been put back into action, and housing is appearing on the farthest edges of Santa Rosa's city limits, even as you talk about city-centered growth, which most people would think is downtown. Mr. Hugh Futrell is building one taller building downtown, and that's an example. You folks could step up to the plate now and start getting housing built on the city-owned lands, such as the White House site, which had a plan put together many years ago, and basically become proactive about getting the housing into the downtown area. This is vitally important because you're stressing out the infrastructure in the Roseland area, Sebastopol Road is a perfect example. It's one of the most busy streets in the city, overcrowded almost all day long, and we can't get the transportation and public works people to take the parking off of Sebastopol Road up there by where they have a planned county housing project that may come in our lifetime. Before that, though, because of that parking on Sebastopol Road, there's extra pollution. There's all these cars waiting on that road when they should pull that parking out, let people turn right up into that situation. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Dwayne. Let's go to Margaret.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you so much. My name is Margaret Zamadio. I'm the housing policy attorney of Legal Aid of Sonoma County. I think appearing here has been long overdue, but I wanted to show up in support of a prior speaker, Tom, on behalf of mobile home park residents. I would encourage you to consider amending the mobile home rent stabilization ordinance in an urgent manner. The fact is the rent increases have increased not only for mobile homes, but for other tenants as well because of inflation. So a regular tenancy is receiving 10% rent increase, and then most of the mobile home rent stabilization ordinances are at the max of 6%, to take effect next year. So you have to act in a timely manner so that these increases don't result in displacement from one of our only affordable housing areas, which is mobile home parks. They're traditionally senior housing. A lot of seniors live in mobile home parks. And one of the things that we're supposed to be addressing in each jurisdiction's housing element plan is addressing the needs of seniors. And the plan needs to delineate how a jurisdiction is going to do that. And one method that we've been advocating for is for all of the localities to amend their mobile home stabilization ordinances because they're all outdated. And in fact, most places are planning on doing so and just haven't gotten around to it. For instance, Petaluma is one of their top 10 priorities. They just passed a just cause ordinance, and we're anticipating the mobile home amendments will be coming next. And the county, they've had an amendment on the books for, I think, 2 years now, and it's just a matter of the political will to get it done. So I thank you for your time. I really just urge you, to talk to your constituents, but to understand that when it comes to the position between a park owner and a mobile home owner, there's an imbalance of power, and you're not going to be able to find a magic middle ground. There's never going to be one, and that's why negotiations typically are not successful. So I just ask that you consider, the financial impact on our senior communities and consider amending in an urgent manner. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Margaret. Let's go to Eric.
Yes, thank you. This is Eric Frazier in the 4th District with Truth in Tourism, also community organizer. I definitely want to throw my support behind the need for the mobile home update. It seems to be a very critical issue. And it is interesting that the previous speakers mentioned 2 areas that I think are really astute. One is political will, and the other one is imbalance of power. Most everybody on the council recognizes me for talking about short-term rental issues because I have some subject matter expertise in that. And I will say that I was surprised this past weekend when an email surfaced that showed that there's a lot of collusion between this Homes Not Hotels group and a political candidate. And in fact, when we talk about political will, it was all that sort of self-serving political will, if you will, to escalate this issue about short-term rentals and really turn it into a political policy crisis, if you will. It's all about political will. And indeed, those homes not hotel signs sprang up in the hills. Not as many as I thought, but they're there. And they're joined with the political candidate signs, as this memo stated they would be. But you wonder, if that type of politicking is really what the city needs, that type of political will, where you're turning aside facts and the idea that you can work with a special interest group for months and months and months and months and months on an urgency ordinance. This email seemed to suggest that the collusion went back several months before our new city manager was installed, and to create this sort of, again, this urgency ordinance, this regulation by urgency ordinance, not talking to anybody in the industry. And furthermore, throwing fuel on the sort of psychological manipulation over the propaganda and stuff that was produced. Let me also say that just recently, a couple days ago, probably all timed within this political strategy, a new survey was announced by city staff about STR issues. There's no date on the survey. There's no deadline on the survey. I'm sure it was written by staff. And I wonder, what is the political will of having really logical, rational, just leadership when it comes to managing the city through issues like this? Does everything have to be political? I guess that's all I have to say today. Thanks so much. And I guess we'll see you around election time. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I believe we have a voicemail public comment.
We do, Mayor. We're bringing that up right now.
Jack Osborne, Brown Act Jack. Item 13. As the president now has indicated that the COVID-19 is over in the country, I think it is time for the city to get back to the normal operation of the city and seasoned is just trying to comply with the requirements issued by the government to do things to protect yourself from COVID-19. Of course, I'm an old man. I'm 99, but I wish you all good luck. Thank you.
That's our last public comments. With that, we will adjourn. Thank you, council members. I'll see you in the coming weeks.